Okay, good evening. I call to order today's Plan Commissioner meeting on June 19, 2024. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Here.
Commissioner Shank?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Here.
Commissioner Wright?
Here.
Commissioner Patel? Here. Chair Ali?
Here. Thank you. First item on the agenda here is a continuation from May 15, 2024, a special use permit.
You're gonna have a hard time hearing. Can you speak a little louder?
Microphone on?
Hear me?
It's on.
You guys hear me?
Now we can, thank you.
Okay, very good. First item on the agenda, special use permit for a planned development with variances, final development plan, and final plat of subdivision, Primrose School, southeast corner, Weber and Bradford Place, project number 400.24. May I have a motion to continue the public hearing?
So moved. Shea. Second.
Commissioner Shea, second Commissioner Wright. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Shank?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
On May 15th, 2024, the Plan Commission voted to continue this project so that concerns raised at the meeting could be addressed. In the weeks since, actions have been taken by the petitioner and village staff to address these concerns. In regard to traffic generation and the northern driveway alignment, the petitioner has provided a summary prepared by KLOA which re-examined their findings. The summary concluded that the project will have no detrimental impact on adjacent roadways. Furthermore, KLOA compared traffic generation of the proposed use with other potential permitted uses on this site and found the proposed use would generate fewer trips than any other uses which would be permitted by right at this location. The summary noted that the proposed driveway location would reduce potential conflicts with Taylor Court. Village staff also notes that the proposed driveway location is designed to provide a safe distance from Weber Road to allow for adequate visibility and also did not conflict with the existing left turn lane onto Weber Road. In regard to the design of the building, the petitioner has provided potential alternative concepts. Village staff is continuing to work with the petitioner to develop an acceptable alternative exterior design to be shared with and approved by the village board should the petitioner proceed. The petitioner has also provided a full-color site plan, better illustrating site elements and proposed landscaping. And in regard to existing neighborhood traffic concerns, including speeding vehicles, cut-through traffic, and illegal U-turns, staff has shared these with the police department. Police is developing a plan to address these issues, which could include additional monitoring of the neighborhood, in addition to roadway signage and striping improvements. Staff continues to recommend approval of the special use permit for a planned development to allow a planned development, Primrose School Daycare, with a variance to reduce the 10-foot wide foundation planting bed along the west side of the building to 3 feet, subject to staff's comments from the memos dated 4/19/24 and 4/24/24 being addressed. With us tonight is the franchisee for this Primrose location, a representative of KLOA, and a representative from the police department who can address any comments and concerns in addition to myself.
Do we have somebody that would like to?
It might be good for a summary from KLOA to take place at this point.
This is KLA, right? Traffic study. Could you please just sign in and you swear to tell the truth at this public hearing?
I do.
Your name, sir?
My name is Louie Abuna, last name spelled A-B-O-O-N-A. I'm a principal with KLOA, and we did prepare the traffic study for the proposed daycare. I think staff did a great job of summarizing our findings. We did prepare a summary of findings memo to help simplify our findings, and essentially the traffic that will be generated by the daycare is not going to have a detrimental impact on the operations of the signalized intersection, Weber and Bradford Place, Hazard Road. We recognize that this is a busy intersection, but the movements that are carry the most amount of traffic are going to be the least impacted by this development. If you look at that intersection, the heavy movement is the northbound left turns, which has a dual lefts going northbound on Weber, west on Hazard, and then the return, the right turn movement, and then the through movements on Weber. The traffic that will utilize the daycare will be primarily turning left or right from Weber onto Bradford Place, and then turning left through and right out of Bradford Place. The increase in traffic from this development to the intersection will amount to 3 to 4% over the peak hours in the morning and evening peak. That's not a significant increase in traffic. To kind of break it down even further, it averages about 3 to 4 cars per cycle. So every time the intersection cycle goes through the green lights on all different approaches and can last 150 seconds because it's a long cycle length, we're only adding 4 cars. So it's really not going to be distinguished, or it's not really going to create any marginal effects where the travel patterns in the intersection will change. The access is well designed. Again, we located the access further away from Weber to provide better separation. Typically you want to align access drives with opposing streets, which in this case would be Taylor Court, but we felt that in this case it would be better to offset it further to the east, again, to provide as much separation as possible so that movements in and out of the daycare would not conflict with the traffic movements at the intersection. And then finally, this site is zoned for commercial uses. There are plenty of uses that could go on this site, and one of the things we looked at is a restaurant, and should that be developed as a restaurant, not only the traffic generation will be higher, but also the activities will be more prevalent in terms of late into the evening and nighttime and weekends when daycare is not operational. This is more of a limited activity center during operating hours only, mostly during the morning and evening when parents are dropping off and picking up their kids, versus a commercial retail use that will be active throughout the day and the weekends. So with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so I have an understanding here, obviously the school will not be open after 6 p.m. And in your table, the trip generation comparison, what is the weekday evening peak hour?
They're actually 6:30 to 6:30.
6:30, okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, the weekday evening peak hour? It's 5 to 6 p.m.
That's 5 to 6?
Yes.
Any questions from the commission? Thank you. Very, very well presented. Anybody else?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. Please, really.
No, he's fine.
Oh, right. Thank you very much. Mr. Eastman, do we have anybody else?
Kristen, did you want to give any type of summary, or are you just to answer any questions maybe, or?
We're here to answer any questions.
So I guess you can open it up to the public again, just making sure that it's new testimony and that we're not kind of circling back through this.
Correct. We did hear a lot of comments and concerns, and I'm glad that our staff got the traffic study and all the details. It was very, very important for us to hear that. Since there are no questions here,
We've got one hand up out in the audience.
Yeah, he's getting ready.
anything from the public? Just a reminder that we did have a lot of questions and concerns our last meeting. So if this is a new question regarding the traffic study and the data that has been presented today, you're more than welcome to step up. But we've heard the concerns last meeting, but please come on up if this is a new question arising from the data provided.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is
Ma'am.
Cindy Zacharias. Oh, what?
Right hand. Right hand, please.
Oh, right hand. My other right hand.
Okay. You swear to tell the truth at this public hearing?
Yes, I do.
Please proceed. Your name, ma'am?
Okay. I was at the last meeting. Thank you for listening to us. And my concern is, you gave a very good report for the traffic, but I'd like to know when that report, when the traffic monitoring was done, what months they were, okay? Because you're talking peak time is rush hour, and we have a lot of traffic through there. You say 3 to 4 cars. I live there. It's more than 3 to 4 cars. So I'd like to know what months you monitor them. When did you do your study, is my question to you. Because living there right off of Bradford and Bella Vista, I see a lot more traffic than that.
Yeah, so what we can do is kind of take all the questions and then, rather than kind of going back and forth, so if you had other questions, please bring up those new questions, and then we can bring the traffic study, Louis, back up to the docket.
Okay. You want me to put my address in here though, right? Court. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Please come on up. Right end, and please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth at this public hearing?
Yes.
Your name, ma'am?
Kay Shelton Kozak.
Thank you.
So I watched the video from the last meeting. It did cut off after an hour, so I'm going to try not to repeat anything that was already said, but again, I was at work last meeting, so I only saw 1 hour of the meeting. I do want to add that the Matthews family, the folks that are going to have the headlights in, y'all have the nicest house on the block in the neighborhood. So yeah, I'd be very concerned about property values because their house is immaculate. Their yard is, I'm jealous. They have very nice, it's fantastic. One thing that I did not hear in the meeting last week is in the springtime, the property floods. There's standing water on the field. Right now, there's a field. There's water. I didn't hear anything about water mitigation, water runoff, the street floods, the entrance to Bella Vista. There's usually a puddle there. I maintain the storm sewer on my side. I cross the street and I maintain the storm sewer on the Park District side. Once in a while, there will be the street sweeper that comes by and helps out with that, but I'm already maintaining the storm sewers with my little rake. So I'm more than concerned about storm water runoff, and I see how much water is, not now because it's dry, but March, April, after a big rain, after the snow melts, there's water. And right now there's just plants. I didn't see a retention pond. I didn't see anything about what to do about storm water runoff. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Because we don't need any more water in the street. There's already enough water in the street. Yeah, there's a lot of people that make U-turns in the street. They can't seem to find the cul-de-sac, which would be the ideal place to turn around. They're turning around in the middle of the street. The folks that go to the parking lot, to the park across the street from our house, they're turning around in our driveway so much that we had to get our driveway replaced. That was $3,400. The bottom part of the driveway was more damaged than the rest of the driveway, so it's folks turning around in our driveway. For the bike path, I'm glad the bike path is still there, but I'm concerned about people going westbound on the sidewalk and the bike path and cars exiting the school because the Bella Vista sign and the trees are there. If you're on a bike, you need to know that there's going to be cars coming at you that you're not going to see. So if you're in a car, I think you're going to see the bikes, but if you're on a bike, your field of vision's going to be a little bit different So I'm more concerned about the bikes coming on the bike path going west. The Hassert-Weber intersection, that is already a problem. I used to commute and I would go north and I would turn right. If you're adding 4 cars to turn left, now everybody who's going to turn right, they're going to get trapped behind that, so now they're going to have to wait. I now commute to a different job and I go straight across Hassert, and there are so many people turning left northbound onto Weber, they don't yield the right of way. If I had a 67 Pontiac Bonneville, that'd be the last time they'd come out and turn in front of me, but I don't have a 67 Pontiac Bonneville. I have a little bitty Kia, so they're not afraid to turn right in front of me going left. So for the future school staff, they'll learn if they're going to go straight or if they're going to turn left. These folks are they're not going to yield the right of way. So that intersection's already an issue without more traffic. Michigan has, I didn't like them at first, but we were in Michigan and they have those flashing yellows for left-hand turns. I didn't like them at first, but that might be something to look at for that intersection, to get people to stop turning when I've been sitting there for 3 minutes and then they're still sneaking through turning left when it's not their turn. That intersection's already an issue. And I think that's about it. Yeah, but the water is my biggest concern. I didn't hear anything about the water. That thing, there's standing water there in the spring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any further correspondence from the audience?
Raising my right hand, my name is Anna Ramirez. I live at 1201 Quail Run in Bradford Place, original homeowner. I'm here to give you kind of a historic perspective, and I swear to tell the truth.
Thank you.
So I'm an original homeowner in Bradford Place from the beginning. Tom and I go back to Boy Scout days a long time ago. And I just wanted to kind of give you a historic perspective of what Bradford Place was always meant to be, and the fact that this planning commission knew it to be a residential street. When Smikle Builder came in to put that subdivision in, even though you knew the corner was always commercial, that was an opportunity to work with Smikle to say, well, in the future, if there's going to be something commercial on that corner, we're going to have to widen Bradford. Right now, when you turn into Bradford, it's not very wide. There's only the right turn lane in from Weber, and then there's a left turn out, and then the other lane to go west or east. So that was a missed opportunity with Smikle and Associates. Then you had Bella Vista come in with Hartz Builder. That was an opportunity if you wanted Bradford to be a thoroughfare and not end at Hassert 111th. You could have easily worked on some sort of easement with them to actually have Bradford go along the edge of Bradford Park and connect to Pepper Tree. And then that would have given it, of course, would have had to be a little bit away from the park, but it would have been the thoroughfare that you're now looking to create on this itty-bitty little piece of land. Also, by moving the road east, you're going right closer to that curve, and I don't even use that curve anymore. I sympathize with my neighbors on Taylor Court because they have no other exit except right there. I'm the first house on the Quail Run side, so because of the traffic on that corner, I exit Pepper Tree, or I exit onto Lily Cash on Aristocrat. Even when I go to the Dunkin' Donuts on 115th, I go to Veterans to 115th because I don't want to deal with that intersection. So that's another possibility. If I was a parent of a child attending that school, I don't think I would deal with that intersection, and if I was coming from the north, I'd go down Veterans to 115th and make that right turn going right in. And so the only other solution I was trying to think of is, I understand you're in a bind now because you need that exit, but can the exit perhaps be for an emergency only, and maybe have it there with a chain, but have everybody going in and out from those two right-hand lanes? And I don't know if that was considered at all. And then the other thing I heard, and I did listen to the meeting that was recorded, but it did cut off, so I don't know what else was discussed. But also, obviously, Taylor Court comes right out very close to Weber. So is there a way to make an exception to at least line those two roads up so that people aren't surprised by another road coming into that little area, that it kind of creates that intersection of Taylor Court and the entrance to the school? And maybe you can make an exception to that variance and then put some sort of other signals there. But it's too tiny. And my other question is, I understand the whole lot isn't being built on, that there is still a commercial use for the very corner. Is that correct? And is anything else being considered for that corner? So please have the foresight to think of the next 10, 15, 20 years, what happens when something else is put on that corner? How is traffic going to be impacted then? And the traffic study, I don't remember seeing any of those little, you put those little counters on the road so that people are going over the counters. So I'd be interested in seeing what the traffic study actually looked at. Obviously, there's no impact to Weber Road. It's a nice big road. Also, that curve is very dangerous. There's been a number of car accidents where the people come around the curve, go right into the tree in the park, the parkway. Some number of trees were knocked down on that parkway. And then the reason I try not to exit on Weber is because when I'm coming to the curve, I don't know what the heck is coming at me. So I am a defensive driver, so I'm slowing down enough to see, are there kids going to the park? Are there people walking their dogs? Are there bikes crossing? There's a lot of human beings walking around in that area. So to have any amount of cars additionally flowing into that space would be dangerous. Thank you. I'll sign in.
Thank you. Any further correspondence from the audience? Please sign yourself in, sir. You got it? You swear to tell the truth at this public hearing, sir?
Yes,
Your name?
Greg Matthews. I'm right at the corner of 505 Bradford Place, and the proposal is not to even have traffic come out on Bradford Place. I have a proposal here that would show two entrances, two exits coming off of Weber Street. There's a left down the street from 111. There's a median in the middle of the street where you can actually make a left turn out of there and go south if you had to. So you would have two entrances coming from the south end, one coming from the north, because you have enough room to make the turning from the north, coming from north end, going south, to turn in and make a left at the second exit of this building. So anyone, I think you said you was and I'm gonna give this to a couple of neighbors. But what I'm getting at is coming where I live at, and if you're talking about putting the driveway a little bit east of Taylor Street, you'll be coming dead at my house. And I don't want that kind of traffic coming right at me like that. You know, it's annoying. It would be annoying to have people coming that way, especially maybe not now, but in the wintertime, when cars got their headlights on and stuff like that. You know, right now it probably wouldn't make a big difference, but you're gonna be getting dark, you know, here real soon, or not soon, but, you know, October, November, December, around the time when you're talking about daycare, it'll be a nuisance. And I believe that would affect the cost, you know, the price of my house, you know. And a lot of the people here, I don't think we want that, because you're gonna have the driveway from the school running, how many feet is that from the Bella Vista entrance? It probably wouldn't be no more than about 20 feet if you're talking about moving that a little bit east, I'm saying, of Taylor Street. Because Taylor comes out, Bella Vista, maybe 100 feet down. So my house sits between Taylor Street and Bella Vista entrance and exit. So I don't know what the proposal is on that, but, you know, me and my wife don't want to be sitting there with headlights shining at us all day. So I'm sure with a lot of the retired people that live in Taylor Court, we you know, we don't want to see that. And then it's gonna be kind of dangerous. You got to make a left, and you got to look at two different locations: the Bella Vista and the school. So I don't know how is that gonna work. Well, you got three. You got Taylor Court, then you're gonna have Bella Vista there, then you're gonna have the school right here. So if anybody ever thought about that. So that's, you know, that's what I'm here for today.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any further correspondence? Doesn't sign in? Do you swear to tell the truth at this public hearing?
I do.
Okay.
My name is Christy Vasky. I live on Quail Run, and I'm going to come at this from just a different perspective. I am an avid runner. I am out walking constantly. I am on my bike. My children are all out on bikes. That intersection is a nightmare. It was a nightmare when we moved in, and my husband and I had a discussion before they put the bike path through. When they were planning it, we ran into some of the guys that were planning it, and we had a whole discussion with them about how unsafe that intersection is. And you have our park, and then you have the soccer fields across the street. They did put up the crosswalk lights. Maybe it helps a little bit. We have been close to being hit numerous times where we could reach out and hit a car. I hate sending my kids. All of their friends are over on the other side. I try to avoid crossing that street when I am out running, because I do not trust anyone in a car. They are distracted. They are not following the rules. They are flying through to get to that turn lane so that they can turn and head north. They are flying through on Bradford so they can get through that green light, because it's so long of a green light for Weber, and then for everybody else it's a little bit shorter. So that's why they come through and hit the trees, because they are going ridiculously fast to catch that light, because they can see it all the way down 111. It's just a dangerous intersection, and I do not want to add any more cars. It's kind of a pain when we are trying to leave, and we already have to sit, right? If we're going to make a right-hand turn, we have to sit behind cars that are going, but I'm okay with that, because mainly the people who are at that light in that direction are from the subdivision. But to add more people who are now going to be perhaps running late to work and trying to get in so they can get the kids to daycare or pick them up, I just do not see how this is going to be any better having an entrance coming in and out where they are turning into our neighborhood.
Thank you. Any further correspondence? You swore to tell the truth at this public hearing.
I do.
Your name, ma'am?
My name is Chris Steimer. I live at 14 Taylor Court. And I don't want to repeat any question that was last time. However, I don't really feel like I heard an answer to what the concern was that I had voiced at the last meeting, and that is that Taylor Court is a cul-de-sac. That entrance is off of Bradford Place. That is, we have no other egress off of our street. We've already talked about the number of accidents that occur there. Putting more traffic there is a matter of time till that driveway and our only egress from our street will be blocked with emergency vehicles. So I would like to know what the plan is for the residents of Taylor Court when that happens, because we all know it eventually will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further correspondence?
Can I go back one?
Yes, please.
Do I need to do this again? No, I'm sworn in, right? Okay. So I guess I hear my concern. I hear all the concerns of the people that live across from Bella Vista, and I empathize with them. My other concern and question for the traffic control person who did the survey was, and this board, is what's going to happen when other things go in that area? You're saying 3 to 4 cars now, but we put 1 or 2 more commercial buildings or businesses in there, that's even going to add to more traffic. So let's really, I'm asking you guys to really look at what you're doing with traffic. We're not against the nursing, the daycare thing. It's how we're going to manage the traffic in our area that is already congested. We live there, we see it. And if you talk about the cul-de-sac being a problem, the U-turns, they're not gonna just do the U-turns there, they're gonna come into Bella Vista and do more U-turns. Plus the safety issue, we have people that park because there is no parking for that park on that street. So you've got a 2-lane street and you've got cars and kids that park to go to that park, and now you're gonna have more traffic and congestion. It's an accident waiting to happen. And I think it can be avoided if you look at the traffic flow and what you're doing with the entrances. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? You swear to tell the truth at this public hearing.
I do.
Name, sir?
First name is Brian, second name is Carlton. I live at 6 Taylor Court. I have a couple concerns as I sit here and I see the audience that we're speaking with. My first concern is, and I don't know if this is true, my neighbors said that the video shut off an hour into the broadcast. Can someone up here confirm or deny, or does anyone have any
That's the first
clue?
I'm hearing of that.
Okay. I also see new faces. There are people that are in attendance that are in front of me today that were not here on the 15th of May. My question to all of you is, did you have an opportunity to review the minutes of that meeting or the video, or hear the concerns that we all have?
I did have time to review the minutes.
Okay.
I didn't have time to read the revised report, so I knew it was 6:30 to 6:30.
Okay.
You know, I take this seriously.
No, and I appreciate that. I just see new faces,
Sure.
and when I see new faces, I just want to make sure that you all have the accurate information that was depicted by the community before the vote is made.
Mm-hmm.
So you had an opportunity to review? Sir, you did? Sir? Okay, great, thank you. Who's the franchisee for this Primrose?
Well, do you have other questions? Because I don't want to go back and forth.
This gentleman wasn't here last time.
Correct.
Right, correct. Yes. So am I not entitled to know who the franchisee is?
Yeah, I just don't want you to start asking me questions.
I was just curious who the franchisee was.
Okay.
Okay, what is, may I please ask him
That's
his
what I'm
name?
going to say. Now you're going to ask me personal questions. I'd rather you
Is
ask
it
other
okay to know his
questions.
name, sir?
Sure.
Okay, may I have your name, please, sir?
Sure. My name is Ravi Pal.
Great, thank you very much. To the gentleman who did the traffic study, I appreciate the concerns and the questions that were addressed. They asked for a date. I would like a little more information on that. Can you give us the time of the day that the traffic study was done? And also, is it something that is done one day, or is it multiple days throughout the process? And then also additional to that, is there a traffic study that is done on traffic that flows into Bradford Place, or was the traffic study only done on Weber Road? So that will address that. That's a new question. Will all the questions that we asked tonight be answered before this meeting is adjourned?
To their best of their ability, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then once the vote is, will the vote be determined tonight?
That's up to the Plan Commission.
Okay. If the Planning Commission plans on voting this evening, are we allowed to come up and ask additional questions or make comments after the vote is made?
No.
We're not. Okay. Then I would like to address a couple things on this. I've tried to be a realist in my life, realistically, and I hope this isn't the case. I feel like it's predetermined, the outcome of this vote. And I believe that because I spoke with Mr. Schmidt about 2 months ago, and he told me that once we get to this place, it is very rarely declined. So I go into it just with the assumption, and we all know what assumption means, that this vote is predetermined. The vote's going to come back, we're going to build. So questions I have, I love the fact that Greg had a proposal where traffic does not flow into Bradford. I hope that that can be done. I don't know the logistics of that. I would hope that you all would look into that so that all the concerns that my neighbor Christy has with her kids and her being a runner, that I have with my son going to the park, all the traffic that flows through, that becomes irrelevant, okay? Second thing, if you do approve this project, I would request that we do something and put up speed humps off people coming in from Weber Road and also people coming around the corner going to Weber Road. It's a very dangerous intersection there. As they've stressed, there are people that are flying, trying to catch the light. We want to slow that down. I have a 7-year-old son that I want to send to the park. I asked my wife the other day, would you ever let Wesley ride his bike to the park? She said, absolutely not. And that's sad, because every one of us, when we were 7 years old, it was never a thought going to the park. We all went to the park, we played with our friends in our neighborhood, and we came home when the lights were on, when the lights turned on at 7 years old. And now we're terrified as a parent to send my kid 350 yards from my house to go to a park because of traffic. And we're trying to increase the traffic flow. So I would please ask that we put additional safety measures in place for our young people, our friends that use the bike path, because that is super important. Lastly, to the officer that is here, I appreciate you showing up. Thank you so much. We have a serious problem with speeding in our neighborhood. It's amazing how fast people go. One time in 15 years of residency in Bradford Place, I've seen someone pulled over because of something. We continuously have U-turns. I live at Taylor Court, as Chris stated, going southbound on Taylor to get onto Bradford, to get onto Weber is the only avenue that I have to exit my street. The amount of U-turns that people are doing right in front of me as I try to go into my street, coming off of Weber, or as I'm trying to exit Weber, it is all the time. and I've never seen one single person given a citation. Now, I may be missing that, but I've never seen that in 15 years. So I'm curious, you're here to address these concerns. Can you give us some analytics that back the fact that the BPD is patrolling this area, that they're writing citations, that they're making sure that the speeding isn't occurring, that they're making sure that the U-turns are not occurring? Because I have not seen that. I could just miss it, but I would appreciate if you could give us that information. I appreciate this opportunity to come and share, to speak my mind. I believe in this process, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any further correspondence? Just real quick, I just have a couple of comments here. As far as Mr. Carlton's comment of the vote being predetermined, this is an independent commission. There's staff recommendation, yes, as it was last meeting on May 15th, the staff did recommend approval, but we heard the residents loud and clear. We allowed extra time for more details and more data to be submitted as far as the traffic study goes. Staff worked very hard with BPD, and Mr. Eastman, if it's okay with you, I'd like to allow the representative, Kristen, is it, right? To come up. We don't take this very lightly, and I want every resident to know that. We've gone through, dug into the data, took the extra measures to ensure that we're going to make the right decision. But I know we've been working with BPD very closely. That's why I like Officer Kristen. I just know the first name.
Hi, I'm Commander
You
Kristen
I
Swenton.
know you've done this a million times.
Okay,
You swear to tell the truth at this public hearing?
I do.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you. I'm Commander Kristen Swenton, and I am in charge of the Support Operations Division at the Police Department. One of my job-related duties is to oversee the traffic unit. Our traffic sergeant couldn't be here with us tonight, but he did pass on this information for me to share. We have been hearing concerns. We have received numerous emails, and we have been working with our engineering department to hear your concerns and come up with a game plan of what we can do to increase your safety. I do apologize with the U-turns. This is the first I'm hearing of that, me personally, so we will have to look into that, and I think that's going to be in conjunction with the engineering department for signage to be able to enforce. So we will definitely connect after this, and you and I can exchange information, and then we will go from there to see what we can do in relation to that. We did put up several different technology devices after we started to hear these concerns. One of those devices was a camera. That was to try to catch the semis, because we were getting a lot of complaints of the semis coming through the neighborhood. We were able to find one semi, but unfortunately at this point we have not been able to locate the company. But then the camera is going to be put back up, because again, we heard that the semis were still coming through. Another device that we used to collect data is a electronic speed sign. The data that I have with me tonight was from March 17th, which was a Friday, through March 23rd, which was the following Thursday. That data shows that the speed limits was within normal range of a neighborhood. To give you some data, the speed count on May 17th was approximately 102 cars that it captured, and there was 1 over 15, 1 over 10, and then 2 over 5. On May 18th, 302 cars, 3 were over 10, and 2 were over 15. And the peak fastest time on that day was 2:30 in the afternoon. The day before that, May 17th, the peak time was 4:30 in the afternoon. And the data goes on, again, just for this week that I have with me today. The most cars were seen on May 20th for a count of 1,035 vehicles. And there was 55 cars over over 5 miles per hour, 4 over 10, and 0 over 15. So that's just a little data that I have a snippet for you this evening. For the extra patrols that we put in, which means we assign our beat officers and or traffic officers to sit in the area as time allows and when they're not answering 911 calls. In the month of June, there was 16 extra patrols conducted. In April, I believe, when we were first starting to get notified of all of these concerns, there was 11 extra patrols. And that was just documentation. That's not to say that our traffic division wasn't out there, but again, this is small snippets of data that I was able to collect and bring for you this evening. Some other concerns that we were talking about, the curve. We are working with Mr. Polowitz. I believe somebody suggested a double yellow line, okay? So I believe that is still in the works and that is being talked about. And then the other engineering discussion point was, again, back to the semis of adding additional signage. So I know that there are some signs out there, but it was requested that it's to be increased. And then again, that would fall under the engineering division. And once it's increased or we were able to find the violators, we are able to enforce it. Is there any other questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I'd like to
No.
tell you, I've seen an increase at least of
We're gonna have to bring
parks,
the
squad.
microphone first.
This one?
Could you please, Mr. Schmidt?
I've seen an increase to the park squad cars by the clubhouse in Bella Vista, and it's at an angle where they can see Bradford as well as Bella Vista, and that's been recently. I don't recall any counter being anywhere. Where did you put it on Bradford?
It actually, it's a sign.
Ooh, don't tell them.
Right, I know what it is.
It doesn't light up. It's just there to strictly collect data. Most of the time, it's our Public Works Division that will hang it depending on what type of electrical pole that they have out there. So it was at Bradford, northbound near Calorie.
Okay, all right.
That's really far
From the,
curve and the park.
yeah.
It's not even in the area.
All right, we're not gonna be able to have
Yeah.
that
Right,
dialogue,
okay.
guys.
One
That's-
other thing is,
that's not
I
the
would
point of
like to
public hearing.
thank the police department for putting up the camera shot, but it was taken down really quick, and I did request that it go back up, and I understand that if it's available, it will go back up.
And the battery died and then.
And the battery died.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. So please note that I will take notice of all of these discussion items tonight, and I will go out and look at that ourselves, and we can re-put up the sign to collect more data. And then again, that's separate from what the commission is doing tonight, but we are here to help our residents and to enforce when we can, okay? And I know you guys have my email address.
Oh, yeah.
Could, at this time, Louis, could you maybe come back up, because I think a lot of the questions were kind of when that took place, how long?
Do you have the questions, Mr. Eastman, or?
Yeah, I mean, I jotted down some, if I could just go back real quick. When was the traffic study done?
So the traffic counts were done in November, was on a Thursday, was done during the peak morning period, 7 to 9 a.m. and 4 to 6 p.m. That's the reason we do it for that time period is twofold. One is to capture the peak hour in the morning and the peak hour in the evening. That's the commuter time when you get the highest amount of traffic, and it also overlaps with the traffic in the morning for the parents to drop off their kids and then the afternoon to pick up their kids.
Which day in November?
Thursday,
What's the date?
November 16.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we counted Weber and Bradford Place, Bradford and Taylor, and then Bradford and Bella Vista. So we looked at that entire stretch of Bradford Place to understand the traffic patterns and movements at these three intersections in close proximity to each other.
Let's see. Do you have specific ones that you?
I think there was a question about access. The access on Weber cannot be more than a right-in, right-out. Weber is a Will County jurisdiction, and they have strict requirements and guidelines of type of access and spacing, and more importantly, there's inability to provide any kind of left turn lane channelization on Weber to accommodate southbound lefts because of the length of the dual left turn lanes, so there's really no space to do that. So the only reasonable access on Weber would be the right-in, right-out that we're proposing.
Mr. Eastman, is the stormwater runoff a concern here, or was that addressed?
Tom, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so on the far south end of the property, it kind of backs up to the creek area. There is floodplain along the creek, but that is depicted in the plans and accounted for, and, the building and the development are designed, per floodplain standards and will be safe. There's also an existing detention pond. They're not building a pond, but they're, directing their storm sewers into the existing detention pond, which again was, planned and sized for this development along with Bella Vista. On a rainy day, there might be some puddles in the field, when they did that mass grading 20 years ago, with those big scrapers, you can't make it perfect like a, pool table. So there could be some little bird baths in there. When they, build that, they will, those will all go away. All their pavements and landscaping all have, proper slopes to them so that they will drain. So I think they, the plans have adequately dealt with the drainage.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. One point I did note that the traffic counts, on Friday, May 17th, was 102 versus Saturday, the 18th of May, 302. And the daycare center is closed on the weekends, correct? So that does tell us that, the traffic counts are certainly higher on the weekends. And that's not daycare traffic, so there will be no impact on Saturdays or on Sundays.
That's a misleading statistic when you start talking about holidays, Mother's Day, graduations, things of that nature that occurred at that time in May. So it's misleading, the statistic. So if we're going to have those types of stats, which I am data-driven, I think the data needs to be consistent with what normal days would look like, not graduation parties, not a Mother's Day holiday as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. I really want to thank the Bolingbrook Police Department. Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys did a fantastic job. Staff did a fantastic job. And thank you to KLOA. Mr. Buna, thank you for being here today, providing as much data as you probably could. And we really appreciate your time and efforts. Yes, please. Chief Rampa, you
Mike
swear to
Rampa.
tell the truth at this public hearing?
I do, Charlie, thank you. Just wanted to stop and introduce myself. I'm Mike Rampa, I'm the Chief of Police here in Bolingbrook, and I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. There are a lot of pieces that go into this, and obviously we have a very professional staff here in addition to this committee that takes the time and effort to make sure that we hear everybody's concerns. Don't think that these fall on deaf ears, okay? We are taking all these very seriously. A lot of these points that were brought up this evening are of basically items that we can definitely address within the police department, okay? But we do see a distinct change in behavior in society in itself, but in driving, okay? Folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, and just technology of vehicles, and I concur with you, sir. When I was 7, I could go to the park on my bike, but there wasn't so many electric vehicles that are ridiculously fast right now, and being able to, that technology and the speed and performance of these vehicles obviously gives not more just a perception, but the reality that there is speeders out there, okay? It's a lot easier to speed in some of these vehicles nowadays. But that's not something that we can just ignore, okay? And we do our best. But we also have a transient population at times. And we can issue tickets and we can go out there and do our enforcement efforts, and it's not the same drivers we see every day, especially in that area. Okay, there's a lot of change in just a different traffic pattern in that Weber Road area. As was mentioned, that Weber Road's a very large street now. It's a main thoroughfare, and there's a lot more traffic out there too. So again, a lot of this behavior we can definitely address now that you bring it to our attention. I know Commander Swinton's taking notes in the back right now as I speak because he's trying to jot down everything that was said tonight. But feel free to contact us direct, and we'll be more than happy to address your concerns and try to combat this. I think your opinions, though, and the facts that you bring, that, it was brought up that this is cookie cut and this has already been decided upon. Yeah, but maybe there can be changes and tweaks done to this with your voice that will make it more fluid or make it safer. and maybe it would work for everybody. So I think this committee and this board needs to take that in consideration. I think we all do here at the Village of Bolingbrook. I think that we do a phenomenal job of listening to our residents. And I want you to share that our doors are always open, our phones are always on. Please contact us if you need any help. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Humphrey. Thank you very much. Very well said, and I agree 100% with what the chief had to say. We're here for the residents. We're here to support you. We want to make sure our neighborhoods are safe, and we will continue to do so.
I had a smart guy tell me one time, no cop, no stop. That's today's society, and that's what they're gonna do. I drive a school bus for Valley View School District. The things I've seen would make you sick. If you think you've seen some stuff, you ain't seen nothing. And a lot of it is your neighbors. Sorry to say, but it is. I'm in a high-profile vehicle. The ones you think are driving safely, they're not. And they don't take responsibility for it. It's about being responsible as far as the drivers are concerned. They're just not. But, you know, I mean, I feel you. I'm sitting up here crying with you because I've been saying the same thing for the last 10, 15 years. But if they don't have enough police officers to stop the folks from doing what they're doing. They just don't. They can't be everywhere every time. And that's where you come in, where you can actually take down the license plate number. Jot down the time, the date that it happened, where it happened at. That's the way the police can help do their job. And it helps you as well. Thank you, sir.
Very well said. I do live in a cul-de-sac, and a lot of people do come in that don't live in our neighborhood and try to do that U-turn thing, but thank you for the BPD. We always report them, and they get taken care of. Yes, sir.
Okay. Couple more things. The drop-off times from 7 to 9, that is the prime time for our school buses to take our young people to school. If we're looking at an additional 3 or 4 cars per cycle coming at that spot, I am not sure if anyone in this room has thought about communicating that with the school district, because it's going to take longer with more people coming through to get those kids to school on time. So I would hope that someone could do that. Also, Mr. Taylor, last time you were here, you stood here and you said that you wanted to invest in our community and that you wanted to be a good member of our community. Would that be you that would be a good member of our community, or the franchisee? And then secondly, you said that. Can you elaborate a little bit on what your plans are to be a good member of our community to enhance what you're doing for the school? Thank you.
There is a school bus that waits. It's on the Bella Vista side. It's actually right, I just thought of that. By the complex, about 8 o'clock every morning. So I don't know where that school, I don't know if they get ahead of schedule and they don't want to, that's like where the school bus stops, about 8 o'clock every morning. So somebody's gonna have to figure out where that school bus is gonna go. And then that retention pond at Bradford Park, they have expanded that. It was before COVID, so it would have been maybe 2019. They did expand that retention pond because this retention pond was not sufficient. So the Park District had dredged that pond. And I do want to go on record, we've never had water in our basement. That best not change. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to get back to the headlights and shining at me at whatever time that the peak hours may be. No one said anything about that. Does anybody care about it?
It's not that no one cares, sir. I really don't have a solution for that, though. There has to be access provided to a commercial piece of property, and we're trying to put it in the best place.
Well, I proposed something that would make 2 different entrances. I can understand that you need more than one entrance.
Right.
And I'd like somebody to at least look at that.
But, okay, KOA answered that. So Will County controls Weber Road, They will not allow an entrance any point within 500 feet of the intersection.
It's not within 500 feet.
It
It'll be
is.
further back.
The intersection is up here where the light is. The proposed intersection where it is right in, right out is 500 feet from the intersection. They cannot do anything from that point all the way to where the intersection starts. That's Will County. That's not the Village of Bolingbrook.
But that's more than 500 feet.
No, it's not.
Mr. Eastman, maybe I can address that when I.
Sure.
You have to be sworn in.
And I still haven't heard an answer yet on that.
If you move the street a little bit toward Taylor, and you put a sign that says this is a dead end or cul-de-sac, they will not have traffic going through them. Maybe, I hope. But there's something that can be done. A, it's quick. B, it's cheap, and it addresses two of the problems.
We're taking all your recommendations, and like Chief Rampa had said, we're open feedback.
Okay.
We're here to help. We want to make sure our neighborhoods are safe.
I trust you with that, and I really, really, really hope that you're hearing what we're saying about the
We are.
traffic. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to answer this question that just came up regarding the 500 feet, please?
Yeah, again, Weber Road is controlled by Will County, and they have strict access requirements. Weber Road is a strategic regional arterial, and the county has high standards in terms of access control. But more importantly, the fact that there is a very long dual left turn lanes going northbound on Weber precludes any ability to provide any kind of full access. There's no room to put a southbound left turn lane to accommodate left turns coming from the north on Weber. But regardless, the spacing does not meet the requirements. The county requires 1,000 feet spacing to allow full access, a minimum. And we don't have that kind of frontage in order to accommodate full access on Weber Road.
The entrance is 500 feet from Weber Road.
Yes, the right in, right out, it is, correct.
Okay, and to the other question, definition of being a good member of the community. Would that be?
I'm gonna defer.
We all want to be.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you want to put the.
Of course.
Welcome back. Raise your right hand, please. Swear to tell the truth at this public hearing.
Absolutely.
Sir, your name?
Matthew Taylor. This is better. So first, I'd like to address my comments of the last meeting. I think I used the word "we." I'm not sure I used myself individually. We have our franchise owner here who actually operates another Primrose school in Plainfield. Very successful operator, has a very successful business and a big partner in the community. He can certainly speak to what he's going to do in the community. I can tell you Primrose as a corporation is very active in every community they work in. So that, when I said the we, it's the group, not me individually. I would like to address this, and I apologize, sir, your name, with the headlight issue. Yeah, I wonder if there isn't, there's obviously right-of-way across from what we're proposing for a driveway. Is there some way we could talk about, at our cost, installing some plantings? There might be some low cover. I'm happy to talk about that offline with the engineering department and planning department.
And I don't think there are any other questions for me that I'm aware of.
I guess maybe too, just before, it's gonna keep coming back to the headlights. Can we just explain why we shifted that to the furthest east that we could rather than lining it up? I don't think that was understood. I know that we've looked at this and there's reason behind it, so if it comes from you, it might help.
We did review this in the last meeting, but that's for clarity purposes.
I think from a traffic standpoint, the primary reason is we wanted to minimize the conflicts of traffic that would be exiting or even entering into the daycare, maximize the spacing from the signalized intersection. There's, cars will stack at the light, when it's red and it's a long cycle length, particularly for the left turners, or cars are going to go through, will have to wait. So what we wanted to do is provide maximum separation. So cars coming out of the daycare, even from Taylor Court, can all get into the back of queue waiting for the light to turn green. If we were going to put it in alignment with Taylor Court, then there'd be that potential where, if the stacking on those turn lanes coming out of Bradford Place onto Weber extend to or beyond the entrance to the daycare, there's a potential for people being a little bit more aggressive, wanting to make a left out, and they get hung up and then block the eastbound lane. So we just felt it's more efficient to do it farther east. It's offset from Taylor. It's what we call a positive offset because the left turns into both will not conflict with each other. So that's why we felt comfortable with it. We normally advocate alignment of intersections, but in this case, we felt it made more sense and it's safer to provide that additional separation to minimize any conflicts and allow traffic on Bradford Place to clear so cars coming out of daycare can make the left more safely.
Thank you for that clarification. Are there any other questions for KLA? Regarding the question regarding the school bus and the school board, we will bring this up to the Valley View School Board regarding the buses. If their data dictates that if there's a crossing guard needed or whatever to keep our kids safe, we will consult with the school board.
The reason why there may be a school bus there is probably because they're staging, pick up the next group of kids. Depending on what size bus it is, it could be staging off to the side, wait till their time is up, and then they move into the proper location. That's that big yellow thing with the red lights that flash that everybody blows through. That's what that is, the school bus.
It's not 365U that comes into Bella Vista.
Okay, then.
Plainfield School District.
Is Plainfield School District?
You've got buses coming from 365U on Bradford, and you've got buses coming in for Plainfield, because we are Plainfield School District in Bella Vista.
Well, it's probably First Student that's doing that then.
If there is a first student bus, I think I've seen, yeah, it's mostly first student.
I know,
But they sit there because they wait for one kid, and then they wait, and they go down, and then they come around and make a U-turn, and then go out.
Yeah.
So, and then there's another school bus that comes from Plainfield to pick up.
There's First Student, Septran, Westway, there's a bunch of them. And they're all doing their thing. And it's not intentional. They're just waiting to pick up their kids. Not trying to harm anybody, they're just, trying to pick up students.
Thank you, Commissioner Wright.
So, I got you.
Yes, please come on up. Sign in. Sort of tell the truth at this public hearing?
Yes.
Your name, sir?
Tony Vasky.
Yes, sir.
I live on Quail Run. So I thought of something with the buses. I see it every morning. The buses come through the intersection on 111 heading westbound into our subdivision. And just like the cars, people are trying to make the light. So the bus drivers are no different. They all drive pretty quickly. Is this an entrance?
This is the suggested entrance for the school.
Okay, because I can see a problem if buses are coming in quickly to the subdivision to pick up kids, and they have to come to a stop because people are turning into the daycare. I think they're all gonna like slam on the brakes to miss cars going into a parking lot.
We're
or
trained not
into-
to do that.
What's that?
We're trained not to do that. Extensively.
So I see it every morning. The buses that are coming in on 111 are coming into our subdivision at a very fast rate because I think the light is just difficult. So they're trying to make the light, they're all breaking, I mean, I think they're breaking the speed limit, but then they'll have to come to a stop because somebody's turning into that lane.
Get the name of the bus company, the bus number, call their dispatcher.
Okay.
Has anybody contacted the schools or the bus company, whoever's doing this out of this
To tell
concern?
all the bus drivers to slow down?
You
That's
just
what
tell-
I'm trying to say.
If you tell the dispatcher, what they'll do is they'll tell all the bus drivers to watch out and be careful.
Okay,
And then they'll make a note of it.
okay,
It's a reprimandable offense.
Thank you.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything further? Hearing none, we have a motion to close the public hearing.
Move, Shay.
Commissioner Shea,
Second.
second Commissioner Tucker. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Shank?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to recommend a motion to approve the findings of facts for a special use permit for a planned development with variances, PC 24.25. Motion.
So moved.
Commissioner Shank.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wright. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Shank?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes. Special use permit for a planned development with variances, final development plan and final plat of subdivision for Primrose School. Project number 400.24. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Commissioner Tucker,
Second.
second Commissioner Patel. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Shank?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes, stand approved. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a special use permit for a commercial recreation facility. Club Lattes, 1250 West Mountain Road. Applicant is Christian Khan. Project number 403.24. Do I have a motion to open this public hearing?
So moved.
Commissioner Wright, second Commissioner Shank. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Shank?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes. Mr. Schmidt, you have the floor.
Thank you. The petitioner is before you tonight to request approval of a special use permit for a commercial recreation facility in order to allow a boutique health and fitness facility at 1250 West Boughton Road. The subject site comprises approximately 1 acre, is currently zoned B2 community retail, and is part of the unified development commonly known as Two Rivers Plaza. Per the zoning ordinance, a commercial recreation facility is not a permitted use within the B2 zoning district, and as such, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow Club Pilates to occupy the tenant space located at 1250 West Boughton Road. Club Pilates is a fitness studio franchise founded in San Diego in 2007 with approximately 800 franchisees nationwide, approximately 20 of which are in the Chicago area. Per the applicant, the proposal would be a boutique-style fitness facility. The facility is comprised of 2 primary components, a workout studio featuring 12 Pilates equipment sets with a private instruction room and a retail area at the front of the space. The staff report noted 24 sets of equipment. However, the petitioner clarified that these sets operate in pairs, so there would be a maximum of 12 participants at any given time in the fitness area. The facility would offer a variety of group classes for different ages and skill levels, each led by a fitness instructor. Group Pilates classes would be offered on an hourly basis 7 days a week. The facility would be open between 6 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Fridays, 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays, and 8 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. on Sundays. Per the applicant, the facility would employ a total of 14 individuals with 1 full-time manager, 1 full-time sales associate, and 10 Pilates instructors. At peak shift, 3 employees would be on site. Staff recommends approval of the special use permit for a commercial recreation facility, commonly known as Club Pilates, at 1250 West Boughton Road. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Is this a vacant building? Is there a building there already?
It's a multi-tenant building. This particular space is currently vacant.
This is next to the pizza place.
Yeah, right across the lot from there.
Cross, next to the T-Mobile and
Yep.
all that, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
I believe it was a former Jenny Craig studio.
Former what?
Jenny Craig, I think it was like a weight
No.
loss.
Formerly.
Yeah.
And what
So Jenny Craig didn't do their job.
it says in the, that was cold. That was cold.
I needed that. Any further questions from the commission?
Hold on.
Yeah, one more, Chairman.
Yes.
Just one more.
Absolutely.
They said the studio averages 500 members on a weekly basis. That works out to about 70 cars plus 14 employees, 84 spots. Do we have enough spots?
Yes, at any given time, there would only be 15 individuals on the site. There's only 12 people who can be in class, plus the retail associate, the manager, and the instructor.
What about the patrons? How many parking spots do we have in the area is what I'm reaching for?
Two Rivers Plaza is a large development. There's a smaller lot that's immediately adjacent to the building, but between the mix of uses there and the available parking both across the drive aisle, closer to the Jewel, and on the subject site, there's more than enough parking.
Okay, so they park anywhere and,
Closest available, like usual.
okay.
Run to train. That Jewel lot is 3/4 empty, majority of the time. Good. Commissioner Tucker, any further questions from you, sir?
No, good.
Anything else from the commissioners? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Do we have any correspondence from the audience? None?
Right there.
A motion to close this public hearing, please. Commissioner Shea.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Tucker. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Schenk?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes. You. PC 24.06, approval of special use permit for a commercial recreation facility. May I have a motion to approve the adoptions of findings of fact, please?
So moved.
Commissioner Shea. Shank. Second, Commissioner Shea. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Schenk?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes. A special use permit for a commercial recreation facility at 1250 West Mountain Road, project number 403.24. May I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Shank, second Commissioner Shea. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Schenk?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel? Yes. Chair Ali?
Yes, stand approved. Welcome. That being said, any new business? Hearing none. Any old business to be conducted? Any citizens to be heard? Hearing none. Chair's report, just a couple of things. I want to congratulate the USA national cricket team for the first time in history for making it to the Super 8, beating teams like Pakistan. So very, very proud of my boys. I've been part of USA cricket for a very, very long time. And Bolingbrook actually is a hub for US cricket and their selection and training facility here. So go USA.
All right.
We're looking forward to you kicking some butt in the Super 8, top 8 teams in the country, in the World Cup, Cricket World Cup, which is now happening in Central America, the remainder of it, but this is the first time the U.S. hosted a World Cup here in the U.S. So
It's amazing.
it's been a rewarding experience for the past 3 decades. After the 3 decades. And second of all, happy 4th coming up. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Anything from the commissioners?
Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah, Juneteenth. Yes, it's all
If you
happening.
don't know about Juneteenth, Google it.
I don't need to Google it. My wife knows everything.
I am not touching that.
Yeah. Nothing else? Anything from staff? Tom, congratulations again.
Yeah, I mean, I think we owe Tom a lot more than just a quick thank you. Tom's been here for over 38 years. And it kind of, when people talk about their basements not flooding, it's because of guys like Tom. So things like that, when these developments come through, I know everyone has a lot to say because it seems like sometimes these things just get dropped on their doorstep. But I wish they would have stayed, to be honest with you, because the amount of items that came before not only my desk but administration on what could have been built at that corner would have drastically impacted their life a lot differently than this proposed daycare. So I had tire stores, I had Casey's General Store with a full 8 double-sided gas station that said, you know, they'd be the best use for that property. There's nothing better than that. So different drive-through scenarios. Auto mechanic store wanted to go there. I could probably go on for about another 10 to 15 minutes. So I understand that we all have things to do. I just wish that sometimes people understood that we do have the best interest in mind, and oftentimes things come to this particular setting and hours and hours and hours of preparation have been put into it by that time that you guys are seeing it or asking questions even before the meeting. The reason why things aren't messy at our meetings is because we try to aim to do it that way. We don't allow someone just to apply for a special use and then bring it to you and say, all right, what do you guys think? We try to answer those questions and thoroughly think about all those before it's brought before you guys. So I just wanted to quickly say that. Sorry, I'm getting off my high horse.
We
but
appreciate you, Matt.
we do try to think about everything that we possibly can. And yes, there's not going to be the perfect scenario all the time, but we do our best. And I think overall, the Village of Bolingbrook is on a very upward trajectory. So I think we're doing well.
Well, you don't have to justify that to us, but thank you.
Yeah,
We
and
know.
lastly, 4th of July celebration at the golf course. I will be there, so anyone else who would like to enjoy a great show and maybe a cold drink, I will be there.
You're buying the cold drink?
I owe you one.
Thank you for that, and I would just echo on the same sentiments that our staff is probably one of the best. In my line of work, I deal with not hundreds of plan commission meetings with new restaurants, new sites, and so forth. I am very proud to say that Bolingbrook is probably the most business-friendly and resident-friendly, if you will, concerned community. And kudos to guys like you guys, our staff. And you guys make it very, very easy for us with all the hard work you do, all the investigations. You know, we really work together as a good team, because I couldn't do it full-time. I know that for a fact. Jake, anything from you, sir? No. Good job today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Long ago, I did that job full-time.
Yeah, that's why
I
you're
was
here
that
now.
guy, And then I was that guy.
All right. Very good, very good. Nothing else?
Just tear yourself away from it, could you?
You know, it's a habit.
We're gonna take you guys off the record now.
That's what I-
Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Say it.
Commissioner Shea, second Commissioner Wright. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.